Hey guys, welcome to Saber Scouts. I'm James Scott, back at you again with the question and answer session. This is our second question in the series, read to you again by my good friend Rob. Hopefully we can get him featured on a couple of these videos at some point in time. But Rob, what do you got for our first question today?
What are some players that have snuck up on people this season?
Oh man, I love this question because this question both entails players that, kind of came out of the blue this year, even underneath my radar, because there are some guys that, we predicted here at Saber Scouts, and you can see all of them on our top 100 list on Saberscouts.com's leaderboard. But there were quite a few that snuck completely underneath our radars and really changed who they are and who they're going to be moving forward in our eyes from last year to this year. One notable, look, I'm a Yankees fan, but I gotta give my credit where credit is due, is Mitch Moreland. Mitch Moreland went from being a fairly middle of the road, 10 to 15% above league average with the bat, decent defensive first baseman, to being a middle of the order threat this year, and all of the numbers check out. He's capable of hitting for power, he's capable of hitting for contact, and he retains that good defense. In fact, he has become such a good hitter that Boston felt very comfortable designating Hanley Ramirez for assignment. So he's going to be their first baseman moving forward. They took a chance on him a couple of years ago with a multi-year deal, and it looked more of like a depth move. A lot of people were curious about why they did it because Hanley was in the fold, and now it's looking like an absolute genius move. So that he's definitely one of them. Michael Brantley. Now this was more of lack of being able to pay attention to every single little part of the picture with every single player. There's so many players out there that there's going to be one or two that slip through our cracks that we really feel bad that we didn't account for. Michael Brantley is one of them. I do not feel like I don't. Given the way my process is, I do not feel good that I missed on Michael Brantley. But Michael Brantley is the same guy he was a couple of years ago. He has power now, which the shoulder surgery took away. I just thought that he would have recovered that power a year ago, when the truth is that shoulder surgery takes up to 2.5 years to recover the power from. And now he's a middle of the order hitter, and the Indians needed him to be. So he is now a top 100 player. A couple of other guys. Odubel Herrera, initially taken in the Rule 5 draft and therefore rushed from the majors, or from the minors to the majors. Herrera has now become a top of the order catalyst and one of the more dangerous outfielders in baseball on the bases and hitting for contact and getting on base. And he has pretty good defense too. It wasn't as good his first couple of seasons, but now he's really dialed it in and become a well above average defensive center fielder as well. He's really become quite the player in my eyes, and I'm glad to see a guy like that kind of emerge, a spark plug, because the game needs more of them. Coming up next is David Robertson, the second baseman for the Tampa Bay Rays. He is one of those guys where he changed his swing. He was mostly a ground ball hitter who walked a ton. He would always have very respectable averages and on-base percentages, but the power just wasn't there. He changed his swing, and now the power is starting to show up. I don't know whether it's sustainable in the long term, but typically with these swing change guys, the first year they're at least very effective. Behind him we have Jed Jerko of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jerko is a former top prospect whose power numbers have been getting better bit by bit for the last few years. He just took a big leap forward in his overall offensive production this year. I was always a big fan of Jerko when he was in the minor leagues. It just seemed that he had become a very three true outcomes hitter when he had come up to the big leagues, and if he wasn't striking out, had a year where his strikeouts more league average. It was too many ground balls, so too few of a batting average. So he has kind of slipped underneath the radar. I kind of moved on from him for a couple of years, acknowledging that his talent was still there, but then missing on predicting his ability this year. Similarly, with the Blue Jays center fielder Kevin Pillar, I predicted Pillar breaking out enough to be the clear everyday either left fielder or center fielder for the Blue Jays when Pillar was first promoted from the minor leagues. I'd been following Pillar since he was in Double-A, about 30% above league average with the bat, hitting for average. I really liked his bat back then, but I wasn't quite aware of the defense until I got to see him live. This year, he's finally added that bat that I was such a big fan of in the minor leagues at the big league level, and he looks like he's actually going to be a 5 to 15% above league average hitter over the course of a full year, which with his defense and base running is absolutely outstanding. There are a couple of other players, and I'm going to definitely address them in the comments below, but I don't want to keep this video too long. The whole purpose of this video series is to not, take too much time from you guys, to not bore you guys, to not drain any sort of attention. But yeah, definitely if you see a player that was not on our top 100 who you think is for real this year, let's talk it up in the comments. Leave a like, hit share, whatever you'd like to do. We would appreciate it. As always, I am James Scott with Saber Scouts with my good friend Rob, signing out. We'll see you on the fields.